You know, have you ever just looked at the world around you and wondered? I mean, we're surrounded by this incredible variety of things. Some are super simple, others are just dazzlingly complex. But what fundamentally makes any of it a thing? It's a massive question, one that thinkers have been wrestling with for centuries. And today, we're going to dive into some of the most powerful tools they came up with to try and answer it.
So what is it that gives matter its form? Are there some kind of unspoken rules that govern all this astonishing variety we see, from a simple rock to a living, breathing creature? In this explainer, we're going to dig into two really powerful frameworks for understanding this exact question. We'll kick things off with an ancient toolkit from Aristotle, and then we'll explore a much broader system for classifying, all of reality. All right, so our first tool comes from the mind of one of history's absolute heavyweights, Aristotle. He came up with this brilliant framework for getting to the bottom of pretty much any object just by asking four key questions. He called them the four causes.
Okay, now this is really important to get straight. When Aristotle says causes, he doesn't mean it like we do today, a simple cause and effect. It's more like four different explanations or four aspects of a thing. So first up, you've got the material cause. Simple enough, what's it made of? Then the formal cause. What's its shape, its design, its blueprint? Next, the efficient cause. Who or what actually brought it into being? And finally, the final cause. What's its purpose? What's the whole point of it?
And what's so wild is just how timeless this whole framework is. I mean, take a look at this. For a classic example, like a bronze statue, the material is bronze. The form is its artistic shape. The efficient cause is the sculptor, and the final cause is maybe to immortalize someone. But then you can apply that exact same logic to something totally modern, like the Atlas robot from Boston Dynamics. Its material, metal, plastic, wires. Its form, that humanoid design. The efficient cause, a whole team of engineers. And its final cause, to perform incredibly complex tasks. It's just a ridiculously versatile way of looking at things.
But here's where it gets a little tricky. Aristotle's model is super elegant for things that are made, right? But does it really apply to everything? I mean, what about things that just exist? Things in nature that don't have a clear creator or an obvious purpose?
This is where the framework starts to stretch a bit thin. Let's take something like a virus that evolved naturally. We can definitely identify its material cause, its genetic material and proteins, and its formal cause, its structure. But who's the efficient cause? There's no single creator there. And what about its final cause, its purpose? From a scientific view, it doesn't really have one. It just exists because of natural processes. So this shows a really important limit. Aristotle's causes are amazing for understanding things that are made, but they kind of struggle to fully capture the wildness of the natural world.
So, this is where we need to pull out a different kind of tool, a much broader lens. Instead of asking why something is here, this next approach asks a totally different question. What kind of thing is it? It's all about mapping and categorizing reality itself. And to do that, we have to start with a solid definition. And that core definition is for an entity. It sounds complicated, but it's not. An entity is simply anything you can sense or perceive as being separate from its environment. So it could be something physical you can hold, like a book, or something totally abstract, like a thought. It could be a river, a planet. If you can recognize it as a distinct thing, hey, it's an entity. And with that one powerful idea, we can start to sort out the world.
So the first big split we can make is between physical and abstract entities. Physical entities are the real, tangible stuff that has mass and takes up space, like a tree, a glass of water, you get it. But abstract entities? Those are the concepts, the ideas floating around in our heads, like love, or justice, or the number 7. You can't touch them, but man, are they a huge part of our reality.
We can also sort entities by looking at their boundaries. A continuous entity, like a river, just kind of flows seamlessly into everything around it. It's hard to say exactly where it begins or ends. But a discrete entity, like a bubble or a bird, has really clear, distinct boundaries that separate it from everything else.
And finally, we can look at all these things through the lens of time. Transient entities are here for a good time, not a long time. Think of a wave crashing on the shore, or a bubble that just pops. Gone. But lasting entities, they endure for huge periods of time, like a mountain range that's been around for millions of years, or a planet just doing its thing in orbit.
So we've just looked at two really different ways of making sense of the world. On one hand, we have Aristotle's four causes, which let us do a deep dive into the purpose of a single thing. And on the other, we have this big picture classification system that helps us map out the entire landscape of reality. So, how do these two toolkits actually fit together? The key thing to realize here is that these two ideas aren't fighting each other. They're actually perfect partners. Think of it this way. Aristotle's four causes are like a microscope. They let you zoom way, way in to analyze the why and how of one specific thing. But classifying entities, that's your telescope. It lets you zoom out and see the big picture, to map and categorize everything in the whole landscape. And to really understand the world, you absolutely need both. You need the microscopic view and the telescopic one.
And ultimately, what both of these frameworks really show us is that how we see reality is totally shaped by the tools we use to understand it, right? It's like Shakespeare famously said, "Nothing is good or bad, but thinking makes it so." The way we decide to categorize and question the world around us, that adds our own layer of meaning onto everything. And maybe that's the real answer to that first question. What makes a thing isn't just what it is, but it's also about the lens we choose to see it through.